How's it going, everyone? Good afternoon. I got the worst time slot up here. You guys are all getting sleepy now. Drink your coffee, please. So the true, spirit behind this little presentation I want to give today is about getting super comfortable, feeling uncomfortable. I'm super uncomfortable right now. So I want to make you guys feel a little bit uncomfortable. So, just to start this off and make this room talk a little bit, I want you to find one person at your table, give them a high five, and tell them one thing that you are deathly afraid of in your life. Come on. Was there any super duper weird fears? Anything that threw you completely off? No? Okay, that's okay. Good. So you're feeling a little uncomfortable, I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable, we're all on the same page now. I'm Adam Hare. Wendy, I want to thank you so much for having me out. Like I said, I had a baby the first time at the other conference, and I was actually 2 seconds away from still making it, and something finally went in my head and went, wait a minute, I should probably stay at the hospital with my newborn and not go and speak. So I think I made the right call. But I'm super excited to be here. If you don't know anything about us, you may or may not have heard about Insurance Jack. We're a small brokerage out of Oshawa, Ontario. We had some pretty interesting numbers our first year in business. So I want to talk a little bit about that today, but here's some kind of stats that we were able to hit with our first year in business. I've only been in the industry for about 5 years, so a really fresh perspective, and a fresh take on this industry. And all of this was achieved with just 3 employees. We're able to still say right now that we offer 24-hour service, that we can have a 5-minute response time. And I want to dive into a little bit today about how we got there and what we do, and hopefully you can take some stuff away from that. So Insurance Jack, to this point, has had no financial backing, so we're not backed by any big dogs. It's just us and our small mom-and-pop shop in Oshawa, Adam Hare, and it's just kind of a dream and a passion that came through. So here's the agenda for today. A quick little rundown of what we're going to talk about. I get the pleasure of spending the next, 45 minutes with you guys, so thank you very much for your time. We're going to dive into, and Beth called it story time, which I kind of like, so I'm like, we kind of thought about just having a fireplace behind us and it crackling and us telling a story with blankets, which I kind of like. But it is kind of going to be a story time. I'm going to tell you about how I got into the industry and how we got on this path, which is kind of a weird path. We're going to talk about Insurance Jack and kind of what happened there. We're going to talk about some tangible things that we've learned along the way. We're going to discuss a little bit about the current state of the market and kind of what I'm seeing and kind of feeling. And then we're going to end off with how your business can win. So I think a few of the speakers have kind of said that I feel like there's a lot of fluff that we talk about, but I want you guys to be able to write down some things and actually leave and bring it back into your business. So that's hopefully what we're going to go over. Does that sound okay?
Here.
If anyone is super bored already, you're allowed to leave. I won't be upset. Okay. We got everyone. So, as I mentioned, so I was born and raised in beautiful Whitby, Ontario. Population of 136,000, 11 Tim Hortons. My dad was a musician growing up. He was a traveling musician. He played in a band. My sister went to school for musical theater. She was an actor, a singer, all that stuff. My mom was terrible at singing or anything like that, but she was a master of the hot glue gun. So I think any of the creative chops kind of just came into me that way. And I think through the blood in our family line, it was pretty evident that being creative was going to be in my DNA from day one. So I think a fundamental moment when I can look back and kind of think when my life changed was actually in about, I think it was about grade 5 or 6. My sister invited her boyfriend over, and he brought over an electric guitar. Completely changed my life. I don't know what it was, but I saw this instrument and just immediately was super attracted, and I knew it was going to change my life. So that kind of spun out into this guy. So I, immediately started playing in bands in grade school and hanging out and doing the music thing. Got into high school, started to take it a little bit more seriously. And I think when I can boil this all back down, as some of you are saying right now, why is he talking about this stuff? If I can dial it right back down to when I first started and where any of my entrepreneurial spirit kind of came from, it was right here. So you know, you look at maybe a band in high school and think, oh, they're just a bunch of degenerate kids. Someone in that band had to book shows, had to collect the money, the $25 that we had to split between 6 guys. We had to book like small tours, we had to get merchandise. So all of this, looking back now, I go, this is kind of where it was all built, off playing music in little shitty clubs in Durham region. So I began to kind of create, and from there it wasn't just music. We got asked to start doing merchandise and start asking about creating flyers for shows. So I had this little tiny, like the worst computer in the world, and I was like, I'm that guy, I wanted to do it. I had no idea what I was doing, but I knew I could fire open Microsoft Paint, and I could probably make a flyer. So bringing this all back down, that's really where it started. That turned into my own clothing line when I was about 18. I started doing merch for other bands and went, why am I putting their crappy artwork on shirts? Why don't I put my own artwork on shirts? That'd be cool. So that kind of started. I took about $1,000 and I printed my first box of t-shirts, and that kind of blew up. I went on tours and started working with some big artists. I toured around Ontario and Canada and sold merchandise, and I had an online store where I sold my stuff all across the world. I learned the hard way, definitely a lot of times, in the fact that I would probably spend about $15 on creating a t-shirt, and then I'd get an order from Europe, and I would usually spend about $15 to ship the shirt, and when I realized I was losing money by shipping, I started to think that I needed to change some things in my business. So I did learn the hard way a lot, but I can fundamentally say that I think through this kind of creative whirlwind, I got a lot of my chops for what I bring into our business today. So that actually led to, after the clothing line, I ended up landing a dream job at Universal Music. So I was there for about 8 years, and I got to work with like the top talents of the world. So it was awesome. I mean, as I think 22, 21, when I started, you know, getting to work with the Tragically Hip and Justin Bieber and Headley and all these fun bands, it was any young 20-year-old's dream. It was the best job in the world. So I actually got to hang out with Gene Simmons, as you can see over there. I actually have a hilarious kind of story. He was filming Family Jewels at the time that he came into our office, and it was actually just off the 401. And he was so used to having a crew around him that one day he thought, well, I'm going to come down, I'm signing this deal with Universal Music Canada. I want to have a crew there. So our media team, which are used to doing websites and apps and all that stuff, all of a sudden had to become this follow him around AV crew. And I was like, I don't know a thing about this. So they gave me a boom and a headset and said, follow him around and just get all his audio. So I was now this audio technician for Gene Simmons for a full 2 days. And it was pretty uncomfortable following him into nightclubs and like listening to conversation. Like I was the creepy guy in the corner with the boomstick, just holding it, going, I'm not listening, but I'm listening to everything. This is kind of cool, but kind of creepy. So it was cool. I had a lot of really fun experiences there. But it definitely got more and more that I felt like it was time for a change, and I didn't really know what that change was. So all in a while I'm there, and it's funny, I actually have my work mom, Deb. Wave, Deb. All the while when I was working at Universal Music, I was getting emails from her. So my dad, he did end up quitting the band and joined his father's brokerage, but he was really good on just saying, you know, stay dear and true to your heart on what you want to do, and never pushed insurance on me at all. He was really, I would say, excited at the opportunity for me to be in the music industry, but actually be making money on the other side. But Deborah Miller over there, every single day we'd be on MSN and talking, and she'd be saying, when are you coming over? When are you going to bring your expertise over here? And I was like, no way, never in a million years. So we kept going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And I think I finally hit a point that I was ready for a big change, and I needed to figure out what that next step kind of looked like. So this was actually the website. I got a screen grab of it when I was first, you know, trying to think in my head of how this is going to look. You know, so I'm getting emails from Dad and Deb saying, okay, so what's going on? We got this company working on our site for us. What do you think? I'm like, what do you mean, what do I think? It's terrible. It's like the worst thing I've ever seen. And I was, again, being able to be a part of this really great, creative, you know, big budgets, working for Coke and Headley and all these fun things. I was like, how am I going to turn that into that? Like, that's not going to work. This is not going to work in my life. So I immediately, you know, started thinking about it more and went, you know, this business has been around for a long time. Things must be working well. Maybe their marketing stinks, but maybe there's something there. And I think, obviously, there was something there. So we started to kind of think about, you know, how would a transition look from coming to music marketing guy into insurance marketing guy, and what would that look like? And I remember, I think I asked for the invoice like the first day, or like thinking about this. I was like, what are you spending with Yellow Pages? And what are you spending with radio? And what are you spending? And like that Yellow Pages contract alone, I was like, we can cancel this. I can come in. You're going to pay my salary, and we'll save money. And it was honestly that moment where it was like a sealed deal. I was like, we'll try this out. So that happened. So we did cancel our Yellow Pages contract, I think. We still have a line listing, but we saved a lot of money. And it just spent it all on me. So how does this look for me? I was completely green, had no idea what to expect, and quite frankly knew nothing about the industry, which I think probably led to a lot of our successes and kind of what we found now. I remember being the kid in the back of the office who played on Facebook. I got this Mac computer. I was a design guy and a marketing guy, so I was, of course, Mac. Everyone in the office was like, what is that thing that you're putting on the desk? And I had a little office in the back, segregated away from everyone. So on top of not knowing everything, I wasn't involved in day-to-day operations. So how am I going to fundamentally learn about the business and grow the business and market the business? So the idea, I guess, from looking at other team members of maybe not appreciating or knowing, and not to their fault, but they never had a marketing director in their office, and I didn't know what a marketing director and an insurance office really looked like. So it's kind of a weird time. Getting to a fun time, but a weird time, and getting to create your own type of role. So I thought I would spend 1 year. I was going to take 1 year, I was going to come into the business, I was going to look at everything, and I was going to build this perfect digital plan, drop it on a desk, and then probably see you later, and going to head back into my life. And that was clearly wrong, because I'm here right now. But that was kind of my expectations. So when we started looking at this, again, I think down to the fact of things were working pretty well. I mean, my dad had been in the industry for quite a long time. We had quite a big company. They were growing, things were growing. So for me on the outside to just say, oh, this is completely broken, was wrong. They were doing some stuff really well, but there was some stuff that we weren't doing that well. So how do we look at that, and how do we take that? There was a changing customer that we really didn't know how to talk to. And I guess the most interesting thing after a year of being in there was realizing that customer was me. How would I want to come into the office? And I went, I would not want to do anything that we're doing. So how can I have my name on the door, be proud to be here, but not be able to offer a solution or a product for a customer like me? Kind of a problem. So there was two options in my head at this point. And this quote kind of sums it up perfectly, I think. We get asked a lot now, why Adam Hare, why Insurance Jack, why the two? And I really at the time just said exactly that. We are doing some amazing things on the Adam Hare side. We need to get super weird and super uncomfortable and try some things to probably make any success out of this. So let's realize that, and let's look at this as a big opportunity for us. We can either not change our business model, we can stay the exact same, or we can have a brand new business model. How does this look for a customer who's 20 years old that wants to buy insurance? So that was kind of it. I think from there, I actually sat in that back office, started working on a business plan, and I worked on that for quite a bit of time. I think I probably spent about 3 weeks just thinking about what this could look like. I actually have this printed out still. It sits in my office, and I refer back to it and think like, wow, it actually was this piece of paper. And that kind of helped kickstart this. So my idea at the beginning was I was obsessed with user experience and design and how do we make this super sexy. Like my goal from day one, if anyone knows me, has been like, I want to make insurance sexy. I don't know how we're going to do it, but as a team, we're going to do it. And that was kind of Insurance Jack. So I thought like Adam Hare is just the brand, the name, people still get it wrong all the time, like Peatley, Hooer, Hare, or whatever. So it didn't really work that well. In the online space, I wanted it to be super clear, super concise, a brand that you know a 20-year-old can relate with, a brand a 60-year-old can relate with, that just looks good and looks modern and it feels good. And I think that's kind of what we accomplished. But I became obsessed with wanting to make this buying process better, and through that we spent 8 months working on a quoter. And the quoter for me was like my baby. I thought that was going to be the differentiator in our business. That the quote tool was everything. I've learned really quickly now, and I'm sure a guy like Dario can kind of attest that this is one little tiny piece of the puzzle. And I don't know, I think I had blinders on, I was like this and so focused that I didn't see anything else, and that's maybe why this was kind of cool for a little bit. But I think made me realize the bigger thing and the fact that there's really no still secret sauce and there's no silver bullet that's going to be this one thing and you're done. And I think probably about 2 months after this launched, I can name about 14 other Insurance Jack holders that got launched. Kind of sucked in the beginning for me and my ego, I guess, of saying like, well, this is mine. I'm like, well, this wasn't mine. Like, I looked at a site or 5 sites that I liked, and I built my perfect site. So this is going to happen regardless in any industry. So now what is our actual value proposition? And it wasn't just a quoter. But yeah, we ended up launching it. We got some great press and cool things have happened. This is a little bit, so this is our home. We ended up taking down, so in that whole culture and spirit of being connected and engaged, we actually so I had an office, a big office, and I was like, I do nothing with this. I sit alone by myself all day. Why do I have an office? There was a producer beside us who had an office, and he doesn't even work there, I don't think, anymore, but he had an office. And we knocked down the wall in between and just said, look, we can knock down 2 offices and have an office that we can squeeze like 4 people in here now. It's kind of cool. The amount of learnings that I've been able to do in this small space, being the marketing guy, being the president, being the sales guy, being the IT guy, and being involved in all of those conversations. If there's one thing I can take away for your organizations, is start looking at this stuff. It allowed me to grow so quickly. And the fact that I just said 4 years ago or 5 years ago, I didn't know what an insurance policy really was, except for stuffed in a drawer somewhere in my house, to coming down now and going, I pretty much run a brokerage. It's kind of scary. But we learned a lot really quickly. That's our glass wall for the first while and up until now still when we remember to do it, that each one of our policies, our new clients are written on the wall. And this is like a reminder in the beginning for us, almost like while the BMS was getting set up and everything was working, of like, okay, have we got a download for this? Do we have this? But it was a visual reminder. But looking back now, we still walk past that glass wall every single day. And I'm like, it doesn't matter where we go. We're having discussions about Insurance Jack moving into its own space. Potentially, I'm like, wherever we go, this piece of glass comes with us because this is like our foundation. You can see in the back kind of our core values and what we live by written there. It's be awesome, surprise and delight, and people, not policies, and that glass wall to me like really speaks to all of that. That's our sales rep shack. That's me on the floor doing something really weird. This was just an idea of an ad, so like where my head goes with this stuff, and I get called weird often, but really trying to just change the perception of this industry, because it's been I don't know, I feel like we've been trapped in this bubble for such a long time, and there's such opportunity, and there's such smart minds and great things going on, and it sucks that you have to go out and be scared to tell someone you're an insurance broker. I'm like an internet digital, like insurance guy, like I don't really know, I'm scared to say it, like I want to be proud. So anyways, we look at examples of great marketing and things that are going on in every other industry. Like, why can't we do this stuff in our industry? Why can't we have fun? Why do we always have to wear a suit? Do we have to wear a suit? All that being said, back to that kind of first slide, this is where we ended on year 1, which I was pretty happy with. I think we've got a long way to go. We're having some really interesting conversations now about how to really put this thing on drugs and ramp it up and go crazy. But this is where we landed, and I'm happy to say that that kind of led us to how we got here today. So some cool things that we've learned along the way of this crazy ride. This was a huge one for us. The fact that we got to look at all of what was going well with Adam Hare, what was going not so well, and be able to really set up shop across the street with the customer focus in mind first and foremost. So there was nothing else that we thought about from day one, but how do we make this the best company for the consumer? Every back office thing, any idea that we kind of have, or every that's not going to work because this doesn't connect to this or that doesn't, again, when I said earlier, the client just doesn't care at all. They want the best experience, and I think we can make that happen. I've told a lot of people around the room that we use a lot of Band-Aids to make stuff work, but we make it work. So when someone says that they can't do this, I will challenge them and say, I think you can. It's not the easiest thing, and nothing in this world comes easy, I think, that's worthwhile, but we've managed to do this. So I think, having a completely flipped approach and looking at really solving your customers' problems first and foremost, and then worrying about your stuff behind the scenes after, it was a fundamental kind of switch for us. I really look at lead generation online, like online dating, as a good analogy. right? If you look like Match.com, if you have someone kind of coming by your website, I look at like Insurance Jacket, that's what I use as my basis, is I want to be like the prettiest. I want someone to come by and see our site and feel super engaged and want to actually want to go on a date with it. And going on a date with Insurance Jack is actually filling out a bit of information. And then now we're getting an actual date. So it's a good analogy. We use it in the office quite a lot, just to kind of really break it down. And I mean, if you had a site that just looks terrible or has no call to actions and doesn't do anything, that's probably a super overweight guy with a crazy hairy chest that's getting no leads, right? People outweigh tech all day. We as an industry, and even being here today, really focus on spending money on technology. I am probably like the perfect or the epitome of what it means to be a technologically savvy broker. Learned really quickly that it is way more about team than it is about your website or your BMS, and it really shocks me that people are so willing to drop, you know, $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 on these pieces of technology because it's like a check mark beside I'm digital now, and I'm like, why not spend, you know, $500, $200 a year on an employee for personal development? How does that look? How does that change the conversation? Those conversations are not happening enough, and I think we're focused way too much on the tech side of our industry. And like I said, I thought this quota was going to save the world, and it didn't. And people can copy it, and we move on, and we're here. It's a new day, and there's 100 other Insurance Jacks out there. So I could plug that website quota into probably a lot of your businesses, and you wouldn't output that. Right? It's the people behind that are making this work, and that makes it, you know, a solid idea. Understanding who you are and being true to you. So, you know, we figured out really quickly that why do we have to take Adam Hare and make them this crazy digital broker? Do they have to be? Are we doing things well enough that we can really triple down on what we're great at and focus on that and let Insurance Jack be who it wants to be, and we can have two brands that live in this world that kind of all tie in? So how does that look? And that was a really interesting thing for us. I think as an industry, we need to stop saying this. I think we're business owners in 2017. I don't think there's a digital person or a non-digital. I think we're all insurance brokers, and it's 2017. If we were going to start a clothing line or a shoe company, the first place we're going to go is online, because that's where everyone is. You're not an online t-shirt company or an online shoe company. I think you're just a company in 2017. So I think we need to stop using this word. This is one that actually drives me mental. And again, it's kind of that outside in, inside out, and just that no one cares. I think it's actually better. Someone spoke about it earlier, but we're so nimble. Like, we own our businesses. We own our stuff. We can do whatever we want. Yes, we're not going to have a budget like Sonnet, but we can get scrappy. We can get weird. We can get in the corners, and we can do this stuff. I think, you know, we found out that we're competing with car insurance, and we just said it's the highest bid keyword on all of Google, and my little company in Oshawa is doing okay. So yeah, like, we're not gonna have an ad during the Blue Jays game, but I think we can survive without doing that. And what are some other ways that we can lean and learn and do these things, right? Like, I looked at that whole thing with Aviva and MLSE and whatever. It was, some people hated it, some people didn't care. I looked at that and went, maybe we should learn from that, and how can we build brand partnerships, maybe with a smaller, with the Oshawa Generals? How can we look at building some sort of group or some sort of plan with them? Like, I think we need to learn from these bigger people instead of just complaining. Take it, spin it, and find a way to bring it back into your business. This has been talked about a lot. I think Jeff actually pointed out Agency Nation out of the States. They have really great content. And this is actually something that I saw one of their team do. But our industry has been obsessed. While there's a big circle around customer has issues, our industry has been obsessed with focusing on that one core aspect of the business to being customer service. And I think that's a huge problem. If you do not have a customer journey from start to 10 years in, you're failing, I think. We need to look at every single aspect of this buying journey or cycle. And I think it was really, you know, quickly to identify how many businesses only have a solution for when someone has a problem. It's the times when they don't have the problem and that we can be reactive that you're going to shine and that you're going to do great things, right? If you get a phone call out of the blue that says, hey, did you know, blah, 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 and you're going to get this, like, what? You're calling me? You care about me? Those are the moments. That whole surprise and delight that we have that written on our wall, like, that's the truth. I don't only want to call because I had a claim and now you care about me. I want you to care about me all the time, right? It's like the husband bringing home flowers for his wife. You don't want it because you stayed out late and got drunk the night before. You want it because it's just out of the blue.
Well, you want it then too, though.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, so sorry, this is just more about, I think we really need, as a group, to stop complaining about the things we can't control. We are in full control, and we need to start taking advantage of that. This is a huge one in our office. And culture to me is not, I think it's kind of a buzzword thing now in insurance, and everyone's starting to say culture, and they'll paint a wall turquoise, and they'll put their logo on the wall and say, oh, our culture is amazing. That's not what culture is. This is a nice wrapped up box, and even like the photos here of us putting Deb's office in paper while she's gone, or having a cake eating and beer contest in the boardroom. Those to me are tiny pieces of culture. To us as a company, we've really been trying to build a space where employees are engaged, they feel safe, they feel protected, and they feel like they can be creative. I look around the room and everyone always says like, oh, I'm not creative. And I honestly challenge that and say that every single person in this room is creative. I don't care if you're creative by drawing, or creative by building a business plan, or a new department, or a division. Everyone has the ability to create, and for me with culture, yes, it's about having some fun, but really with our staff, it's about creating a place where they feel safe enough to be able to come up with wonderful new ideas and help us push forward. We do morning huddles that are catered. We have the staff actually come in the office before our office opens. They're that hyped that the office isn't even open, and they're in there. We can say, come 20 minutes early or 50 minutes early and come, and we'll have a rah-rah, and we'll pass out awards, and we'll talk about this stuff. So I think it's a really cool piece. I think it's something that's maybe not done well enough, or people don't fully understand it yet, and there's no silver bullet to culture. You can't say, I want a culture, and you have a culture. This is years and years and years and years of true living and running a business, and actually fully believing it, and not just you believing it, your entire organization. And the fact that your culture should probably be so strong that if they don't feel it, they're probably not a fit for your team. That whole sports team analogy that I think Ken was talking about, like, it should be a privilege to work for one of our companies, and if they want a seat on that bench, then they should earn it.
Make me want to clap.
So a little bit on the current state of the industry. Again, I do a bunch of these like weird analogies, and I don't know if they actually resonate with you guys, so if not, you can tell me. In my head, this stuff makes so much sense, but again, my brain's a little bit weird. So I just was thinking about it, and we have these glass walls, and I started drawing out just to think about the current state and kind of where I saw it, before I got into the industry, where it is now, and where it's kind of headed. And this is what I came up with. So I'm going to walk you through this. In my brain right now, we are in high school. I'm just going to put that out there first. I would say when I first came into the industry, and probably even 5 years before that, this is me specifically looking at my family business and what was going on. My dad, back in the day, was the president of the IBAO. He was a big guy. He had business was going well. I think premiums were on the rise. Everything was going pretty awesome. No one was super concerned with maybe change or know how fast things would change or where it was going to go. So to me, this kind of felt like elementary school. You're in this phase of your life where you are super protected. You're warm. You've got your friends around you. You're in grade 7. You're in grade 5. You're in grade 6. You're in grade 7. Everyone moves together. Everyone, the same people. There's no one on the outside to kind of scare you, and you feel good and nice and warm. All of a sudden, you graduate into high school, and that super confident, great kid who was at the top of his class now streamlines it with all these schools from all over, and all of a sudden, feeling a little uneasy. What's going on? What's going on here? It's kind of awkward. It's a large pool, loss of direction. So to me right now, high school is probably even, and I look at my dad and say, if we didn't have this kind of plan, it would be that kind of awkward time of like, what are we doing? Are we hopping on this train? Are we not hopping on this train? Where do we go? And to me, there's really two ways to go from here. And I think, again, we talked about it this morning a little bit. The guys who are going to get it, girls or guys, are going to get it, and they're going to graduate, and they're going to revise a strategy, and they're going to build a new plan, and they're going to attack the future, or they're probably just going to say, you know what, I'm kind of tired, and I want to go out on my boat and hang out and golf. So I think it's a really interesting time, right? It's been really safe for a really long time. So I don't know where it's headed. I know big things are happening. And obviously, if you're here in this room, you're engaged enough to care about this stuff. So I think that's great to kind of see, and that we've got a good group like this. So where's the meat? So I wanted to give you guys 10 or 11 tangible takeaways for today, and then hopefully have a bit of time for questions if we can get through this. So self-awareness, you've heard a lot of information today. You need to figure out where you fit. And that whole idea of the traditional side or the digital side, I think you just need to figure out what your goals are for your business and where you want to be. If you are amazing and killing walk-in business, then do that, like triple down. Like say, I'm gonna hire a driver who's gonna go and pick up people and do a shuttle service, like out of the box, but not to say because you're not on Facebook that you're gonna lose. I think figure out your business, what you're doing amazing, and triple down on exactly that. And I don't think you need to have the sexiest quota in the room to survive in this age. I think our entire industry has an identity crisis. We don't care about brand, really. Which is just crazy to me. I mean, you look at all these big brands out there, they spend so much money and so much time on actually, creating a feeling. It's not about creating a logo and having, whatever, Hare and Sons insurance brokerage. It's about, when you see that, how does it make you feel? So I think we've spent a lot of time in really wanting to create something that you do get a feeling of. And again, that's not an overnight thing. And this isn't about having a fancy piece of clip art. It's really about believing in everything. So yeah, I would say, going back into your offices and looking, and do you have a brand value? Do you have a brand proposition? What is your brand? At least starting to have that conversation. The theme of today, I think every great next leap or every great next bound or every great new thing that's going to happen in your life is probably just at the other side of feeling a little bit uncomfortable and a little scared. I've been able to take this in my own life and be able to harness this and start having those conversations that you probably don't want to have. But I think, every day we come into our office and we changed up our hours 2 weeks ago, just on a fly. It was well, we need more late evening. So guys, are we okay to run until 6? Yeah, okay, sure, let's go. We're just kind of used to it now and being uncomfortable all the time, down to maybe you're going to sit somewhere new tomorrow. So I think we're trying to get really comfortable in that space. And this is something that you're going to hear in our office all the time. And we started today with trying to make you guys feel a little bit uncomfortable. Lead marketing and automation. I think these are just if you're not using these in your business, here's some kind of tools that we've used. I wanted to give you some actual names, but again, it's 2017. We need to be doing these types of things with our customers. It's shocking how many people don't. And not to say that everyone here, I think the common misconception is you all need to be experts. Yes, I might have more experience in this because this is my background. I don't think you're going to fail if you're not me. Just find someone who cares enough about this stuff that you can either pay to bring into your organization or pay a company to work with, like you were talking about. You don't have to be this most amazing digital marketing person. We're spending a lot of time at these conferences talking about digital marketing, and that I know for you guys, you must maybe feel threatened in the fact that, well, that's not me. You don't have to be that person. Just make sure that if you don't care about it and you're sitting here going, oh, this guy's boring and this stuff sucks, make sure there's someone who you can send from your office that would care about this stuff. And if it's not someone directly in your organization, even if it's a person who's a part-time, like a part-time subcontract or however that looks, this is a huge part of your organization. Your customer journey we talked about. If you don't have this, I would really recommend going back into your office and making this an awesome exercise for your entire team to get around and say, what does it look like? Put yourself outside of the doors of your office, walk in, talk to reception, say, I want a car policy, buy it, and see how it feels. And then see how it feels 2 days after, and then see how it feels 3 months after, and then see how it feels a year after. It's obsessive and kind of weird, and I get super detailed, but I think that's what we have to do. And if you buy a product anywhere else, Amazon is saying, your product is shipped, your product is there, rate this product, tell your friend about this product. Do you think they're just wasting time to do this? It's working. Reactive, not proactive, we talk about this a lot in our industry. I just wanted to give you one idea that I do personally. So with Twitter and Instagram and hashtags, it's really easy to go and search whatever you want, where you want in a geolocated area. So I can go on Twitter, and I can search just Ontario, I can search just car insurance or car insurance, sure. And I can start seeing who's negatively talking. And there's a lot of negative chit chat. And not that they have to be using a specific hashtag. If they have car and insurance in their tag, it's going to show up. What I do from Insurance Jack is find every single person. I don't do this all the time, but I can find a single person who's talking negatively about car insurance and say, hey, Rob, let Insurance Jack help you with that. So that me now walking down the street thinking, I'm pissed off, my premiums are up, and whatever, blah, blah, blah. I get a DM from Insurance Jack saying, hey, we see that you have a problem, let us fix it. That to me is being super proactive. And we've had some cool responses out of it. I'm not saying we're writing millions of dollars in business because of that, but it's those little bits of being able to think differently and think outside of the box. So one thing to kind of try, maybe if you can take that back and you're a little bit savvy with Instagram, even being a part of that conversation, it's kind of cool. This is a no-brainer. I think we're just like super sleepy in this sense of like the whole pink card thing. Like you just start doing it. I get the BMS thing, and for us, we take screen grabs and we attach it, and our clients absolutely love it. We didn't even know that it was going to happen this way. We actually on the Hare side had let an employee go and had an extra cell phone lying around, and our first client said, "Hey, can I text you?" And we're like, "Of course you can." And we're like, again, this like behind the scenes smoke and mirrors. How are we going to make this work? We're like, well, we got a cell phone, just text. So all of a sudden we're texting, and now we have an Insurance Jack cell phone. How we're going to scale this, I don't know. We've got some plans in place, but it's just funny how that necessity came of the client doesn't care, for me to say, oh, I'm sorry, Beth, we don't have text message available. Like, I would laugh at that company. So that they wanted it, we made it happen, and now we scale it and make it work. Customer happiness manager is a job. Yes, we have a customer happiness manager who runs our entire company almost. She does phenomenal things for us. We do welcome aboard phone calls. She has a weekly budget for just surprising and delighting clients. So I say, like at the end of the week, if it's $50 or whatever it is, I want this money spent, and I want you to report back on who you spent it on and what you did. So if it's one family who gets a gift card at the end of the week because they're just awesome clients and they get to take their family to the movies, great, that's awesome. If you take 5 clients and here's $10 here, here's a book because you're pregnant and I heard that baby's coming, take this, great. So these are all little, surprising and delighting moments that for us, it's really hard to measure the ROI on this stuff, and we get a lot of conversations of people want to know if money's being spent, what's going on with it. I think this specific field, we have marketing for that, and we have on, our SEO and our Facebook ads, we can tell you exactly what we're bringing in because what we're doing. This, to me, is a bit of a feel-good and a bit of a gamble that I think if we continue to do stuff like this over and over, that it's going to be positive for us in the end. On marketing, I think Jeff Roy kind of hit on it again. Scott Stratton actually spoke at one of the IBAO conferences a while back and hit the nail on the head with, well, we need to stop just saying, call for a free quote. When's the last time you paid for a quote? Probably never. And yet this is all we do. Call us for free. Like, we're just asking, and we're giving nothing. So how do we give and provide value, actual value, right? So that person who now follows Adam Hare or Insurance Jack on Facebook, they see 5 times a month or 5 times a week that we have really valuable, great content about products. We're positioning ourselves in their head as the go-to guy when that time does come. So I think kind of reverse engineering it a little bit and thinking about just trying to position yourself. Like, there's so much knowledge in this room. The one thing insurance brokers hold is like this database of crazy knowledge. Put that out there, let people see that you have it, and when they want it, I can guarantee that they're going to come to you. Measure. You cannot make a tangible business decision if you're not measuring. So back to when we were talking about like the website redesign, if you just went, we don't really like our website, probably not enough. We spend a lot of time going through reports on screen tracking of exactly how people are moving on our site and kind of what's going on. So we know that we're making a tangible move. We're not going to spend $10,000 on a revamp of our site just because we're like, meh, it looks kind of ugly. So there's tons of wicked companies out there that you can contract with to get data and super deep driven data to make actual decisions that are going to make sense for your business. And it's not just about your website. I mean, your internal staff, your KPIs, and your close ratios, and knowing exactly, like, when you get on the marketing side and start spending dollars, you need to know, what's coming in and where it's coming from and why it's coming. And if you're not tracking, then you're never going to get better. Last but not least, I honestly believe that you actually have to have a huge passion and love what you do, and that if you are sitting at the table going, I don't really care about any of this stuff, and it's probably time to check out. I'm super passionate. It's super weird because I never thought I would be able to find a passion between insurance and music and how we can make this all work. But I can honestly say that I wake up every day super excited to go into the office, and I told myself that if there's one day that's not happening, then I'm not going to be here. All of this, leads to wonderful conferences and meeting great people like you. So very thankful for the opportunity. And I don't know if we have time for any questions, but that's all I got for you.